It's the third Saturday of the month. Welcome back to TVGP's Game Club. This time we're talking about 2021's Lake. I'm your host, Boston, playing this on the Xbox Series X, joined as always by Moonpear.
Howdy, XX, baby.
And Musum.
Xbox One.
Nice. Let's get all the...
Now I'm real curious because I was on TA looking at some forum posts and there was a lot of talk about that platform, so we'll get into that, I'm sure.
Okay. All right, before we dive into that, let's talk about our introductory stuff. This game came out September 1st, 2021, published by Whitethorn Digital, developed by Gamius, which is the closest I can assume that that's pronounced. Put out on PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series consoles. Time travel here, which is 2 months ago. Metacritic 71, OpenCritic 68. We're going to bang out a couple of peers for this release date, just in case you're listening to this in the future. Bravely Default 2 came out on the PC. Life is Strange True Colors, cough, 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 came out. Tales of Arise, Deathloop, and Sable. September was, an embarrassment of riches for video games. Let's ask the question we always ask, though. Top of the pile, middle of the pack, or overlooked?
I'll go on this one. I think this was overlooked because everyone was hyped about this based on a trailer, which we were too. And we'll openly put our hands up and say, we saw this trailer 2 years in a row.
And like the Steam Demo Fest, whatever the game demo fest they had, Lake was like Lake and Unpacking were prominently featured.
Yeah, I'd never heard of this until you guys suggested it. So,
okay.
And I had not heard of it when it came out. And seeing that one of its peers was Life is Strange 2 Colors, I think I was right.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those games that a lot of people, myself included, were looking at. And it's like, great, I'll play this on Game Pass. And it came out, and they're like, yep, it's $20. And it's like, but it's not on Game Pass? Really? And I feel like the level of expectation for sort of independent games just being on Game Pass maybe sort of bit me this time. That might be where some of the excitement sort of landed, was like, yeah, all right, I'll play it on Game Pass. Whoops, it's not. Okay.
I mean, on paper, it sounds like my kind of game. Or wait, are we to this section? Did we have one more?
No, yeah, we can dive right into it. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Yeah, on paper, this sounds like it should be my kind of game. But if you think back to when we played Tiny Metal, and your reaction specifically, Boston, to Tiny Metal, is similar to how I feel against this game. Why would you play this game when there are so many other games who do something similar better?
Right.
Because this game, to me, is death by 1,000 cuts. And I can start on the technical issues Xbox One has.
Right.
I can start on the gaming issues.
Okay, so I was concerned when because I got one of the endings today, which I'll get to that later. I was concerned that I would be the only person of the three of us with a negative opinion of this game.
Hey, me too.
Oh, really?
So let's put this.
Very positive about it, and I was going in this podcast going, I dislike this game so much.
And honestly, I think part of the reason why we picked this for the show is this is very much in our wheelhouse. We're this kind of casual, zen-y, not point-and-click adventure, but like this sort of small-town adventure thing that has been popular for the last couple of years that I think all three of us, especially in the sort of Life is Strange games, kind of really click with. And I think, like you said, on paper, it's like, it's 1986, and you're a mail carrier in a small town. I was like, God, yes, I'm going to drink this thing up with a straw.
Come on, dude. I mean, let's look at it. I couldn't tell you what Musum's favorite one from this one would be. But you've got the old stupid radio tuning one that you're obsessed with, Boston, which I can never remember.
Yep.
Thank you. You got Oxenfree, which is a quality game, and I'm pretty sure we all like that game. My game of my entire lifetime is What Remains of Edith Finch.
Oh, so
which is, one of these kinds of games.
Mm-hmm.
And then this game.
Well, and for Musum and I Musim has already finished it, and I'm in the middle of playing it. That Life is Strange True Colors just came out, which is they are cousins to each other.
Yeah.
They are attempting to be very much the same thing, and one of them has Square Enix money, and one of them doesn't. And that might. It's accidentally a bad pun. That might color some of my opinion here of Lake. I'm sorry. That's the best way I can put it. But I'm trying not to hold Lake to the standard of Life is Strange, because that is grossly unfair.
It is hard, because this is an indie developer. They spent all their time making the foliage and the lake in this game.
Yep.
And, but like, that doesn't... It's hard for me to separate myself from that, because obviously they made a very beautiful environment, and then they give you horrible controls to move around it.
Yep.
And the writing in it I found very poor. Like,
yep.
And some of that may be some of the tech. Like, a lot of the time when the characters were talking to each other, they didn't feel like they were talking to each other. I say some of the time, almost all the time.
Yeah, right.
And some of it was I had an audio gap between one started talking and the others. I don't know if that carried to the other platforms. Some of it was just the voice acting was, we'll maybe say, average to bad.
It was uneven. Some characters were good. Like, I liked Meredith. I thought she was pretty solid. I liked the mechanic kid. I thought she was pretty good. Yeah. But there were some characters in there where it's like, yeah, man, I'm it's not landing for me.
Yeah. So I do agree with Musim. Like, visually, I think this game looks incredible.
Yeah.
Which is probably why it cuts a really great trailer.
Yes.
I think, as you mentioned, when you're not moving around in the world, it's amazing. Like, just looking around when you're like just moving the camera around to see different angles. Like, I don't know if any of you guys did the photography challenge, but I did, and for some stupid reason, I took it seriously. Which was a mistake, because when I got my photos back, they were all black.
Yeah, mine were too.
Great.
Great. I assume that was a glitch thing, but
yes, it was. So that was fun. But the game does look good. So again, voice acting is fine. I say fine because it middles itself out from the good people to the downright questionable people. From what I've read, I feel bad for Musim because the technical issues on the OG Xbox One were problematic for a lot of people. I've seen.
I can list them off, man. Like,
yeah, let's
a lot. Like,
let's talk about your experience, because the Series X version is fine, but not.
It still has itches and constantly had audio and visual glitches for me on the X.
Yeah.
So when you go to load, it's like a 3 to 5 minute wait, typically. When you first start your day, well, maybe I should start with the frame rate. I'm not a frame rate guy.
Right.
I suspect this game ran around 10 to 20 frame rate, like through the entirety of the game. Like it was, and when you move as slow as you do in that game, I'm constantly like, is this the frame rate? Is this thing glitched? Is this bugged? What's going on?
Is my controller dying?
Even the fast move button is so slow still.
Yeah, the auto drive or whatever they called it, like that was
like the hold the right trigger thing to walk faster is not even that much faster.
No, that's the thing I felt the most like a Life is Strange game, where it's like, all right, here's the run button. It's like, let's do. We're not okay. That's how fast.
That felt a lot like the first Life is Strange. Where the first Life is Strange is very much I'm going to walk 2% faster.
Yeah.
I would much rather have a OG Walking Dead series where you pull the right trigger and he animates at the same speed but moves 3 times faster, and it's so ridiculous looking. Give me that over this any day.
I just want to cook.
Life is Strange. You're not moving around a gigantic environment. You're moving around a very small set piece. Like, there's really good music in the background, which this game for the most part lacks. And like this game, you get this big open environment that evidently there are certain scenes you will see if you actually like return to the tower that you and Kay went to that one time. But I didn't do that because I hated moving around this world so much.
Yeah.
The map had huge issues. Like every time I'd load the game, while the checkbox would remain unchecked, or like, so you can toggle whether the mini map changes rotation or not, right?
Right.
In a game like this, I don't want it to rotate. I want to look at the map and go, that is south of here, and then I want to look at my mini map and drive south.
Right.
And every time I loaded, it would forget that option for me. Would still, you'd look at the menu, and it would still say that it's on anti-rotation on the mini map, but it would rotate. And I discovered halfway through the game, if I checked it and unchecked it again, then it would remember. But I had to do that every time.
Right.
When I started each day in, like, you start your day at the post office, the prompt to enter the mail truck wouldn't happen until I looked at the map. And the first time I opened the map, the zooming controls would not work on it.
Jeez.
So like literally no part of this experience was smooth.
Yeah, like I can't remember the name of it. There was a game that we bought for, I think it was last year.
It was the Switch. It was the puzzling game. It was the Sexy Brutale.
It operated better than the Sexy Brutale on Switch. I would give it that.
Okay, we have our baseline of poor performance.
Whereas Sexy Brutale was basically unplayable. This one I got through. I was a
right.
little angry the entire experience,
yeah,
but I got
gritting your teeth. Yeah. Oh man, yeah. I have
Let's just
go ahead.
Let's get this out of the way. Like we don't come into this, especially in our game club. We don't come into this intending to crap all over a developer's work.
No, we didn't talk last month and be like, "Here's the one we're gonna hate. Don't even play it. We're just gonna come in and make stuff up." Like that's not what we're doing.
We've already got our bottom of the year list one all organized for this year.
Yeah, check next month for our Game Club of the Year ranking, where one of them will shoot to the bottom of the list for sure.
Every year, guaranteed.
Yep.
Like, we don't come into this wanting to do this. We don't come into this wanting to be so negative about anything. And we get it. It's a small developer and so on and so forth. But at the same time, I don't buy that argument. Because, yes, fine, you're a small developer. You put a lot of effort into it. You don't have animations for getting in and out of the truck. That's like a 3 to 5 second black screen while you're getting in and out of the truck. The back of the truck, when you get parcels out of it, is a grey haze with like a little floating JPEG of a parcel inside of it. And I get it. Small teams, whatever.
Yeah, like that stuff doesn't bother me that much.
Yeah. May I then point you towards Braid? May I point you towards Fez? May I point you towards Stardew Valley, which is a game that one dude literally made everything for, including the music. Like, we don't come in here wanting to crap all over something, but at the same time, I did not have fun with this game. I was legitimately 5 days in, I was fast traveling and auto driving everywhere because I didn't want to control the game anymore.
So that hurts me. You just told me two things I didn't know. There's fast travel and there's auto drive in this.
The two things they don't tell you. Yep.
So, when you're going around the lake and there's those, like, basically on each of the points of the compass of the lake, there's the landmarks. And there's an orange sign on the landmark.
Yeah.
If you highlight that with your cursor, it says in the bottom right, hit A to fast travel.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like you're more angry now.
It doesn't tell you, and to be honest, I don't know if it would work with you, because that would mean a 3 to 5 minute load time. You could drive there faster.
Oh, like it just goes to a loading screen.
It does,
yeah. It legit just goes load you, and you're right there at that intersection.
I'm not sure which would have irritated me more, honestly.
Yeah.
And like I did fast travel, the self-driving thing. That's when you click on like the white locations, like the houses, the motel, the diner. You hit A on them, and you just hit A again, and it'll auto drive you right there.
So,
is there a background noise for someone? Does someone have something going on in the background, like a vacuuming?
Can you hear the hissing?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go turn off the radiator.
Okay. One thing RTX voice doesn't doesn't prevent against. Apologies for the apartment color here. Anyway, go ahead, Musim.
So something that also occurred to me while I was playing is I can't imagine what it would be like to be you guys who have started Forza Horizon 5. Now, granted, that game, has oodles and oodles of money behind it, but like going from those driving controls to these, I can't imagine it's
a little bit of whiplash
easy.
Between this like 4K 60 frames Dolby Vision racing game, and I'm like, all right, add it 87. Let's do this thing. Yeah, I feel.
And I don't.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say one more thing about the driving. This is just a money idea, Microsoft, because I know you listen to us every time.
Yes, definitely.
Well, yeah, that's
where
do you think we get our patrons from?
Yeah.
Take your Forza tech, just remove the licensed cars from it.
Yep.
Just take the driving tech and make Unreal and Unity assets out of them.
There you go.
And let these poor indie devs
That's right.
not have to slave away doing this and just immediately get good driving controls.
Yeah. I think that the biggest thing for me that was a letdown is the graphics were fine. I like a game that has kind of a fun art style. I think this has like a neat art style, especially for the characters. The driving is not great. Go ahead.
The way the game looks is fine.
It's fun.
It's the moving around inside of that is the problem.
That's not even my biggest problem, because I feel like, this issue aside, I feel like I could have put up with the game's kind of glacial pace. Look, mail trucks don't go that fast to begin with, so I'm not expecting it to do like 0 to 60 in, 0.75. I can get over that. My biggest problem, and I feel like the thing that this game, the concept that this game was sort of sold as is kind of go live in this town, become the mail carrier, get to know all these people, get to know all their secrets, like start living in this town, living with everybody that you grew up with, and kind of see how the town has turned out. And I think where this game for me ultimately fails is each and every conversation you have with any person gets so close to being interesting, and then as soon as it's like almost at that precipice of learning something or having a great conversation, it just stops. You make like one or two decisions that are gonna kind of change stuff, but you never get enough time. Even like when the video rental store lady comes to your house, you don't even have a really long conversation with her anyway, even as she's selling you a business opportunity. You talk to another person for maybe 2 minutes, you make 2 or 3 choices, it fades to black, you start another day at work. Like, I wanted to spend so much more time with the few people you get to meet in town and really integrate yourself into their lives, so that when the 2 weeks is over, it is a genuinely hard choice of, should I stay in this place where I sort of have this found family, this new community I've found that is both new people and kind of people I knew growing up in this place, or should I go back to my hugely successful modern apartment where we're selling this $250,000 add at 87 deal at work? There should be this kind of difficult choice here, and I feel like I didn't care by the end.
I couldn't get away from that town fast enough. Like, I didn't. The lumberjack guy, like, after the first outing with him, I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I'm just not going to do this part of the story because it's going to save me time in this world that that obviously, I feel like what they wanted to make was like this cool open world relaxation simulator.
Yes.
Which I would have adored. I think it's probably too much scope for an indie team, but like having decent walking controls where you could traverse around and look around the area, and maybe put like even Firewatch had like animals and birds and things in it, right? Like that would poke around. And I'm impressed they got their trees to sway and things like that in this one, at least a little bit. But like, I feel like they went after 2 worlds here, and they should have just gone after one.
Yes. Hi.
like I
Okay,
do
thank
not
you so
like
much.
being the do not like
Sounds
being
great. Thanks. Bye.
reductive about this. But as somebody who I'm not a huge fan of graphic novels. I'm not. You guys you guys definitely prefer your graphic novels compared to me. But you take all the effort you put into building the world, and you can turn this 6-hour slog of driving and minimal conversations, you throw a bunch more writing behind it.
Yes.
You take all that open world out, and you make this a 6-hour visual novel. It's a much more interesting game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's exactly what I'm saying. You either need to go fully into the visual novel aspect or go fully into the kind of tourist open world aspect, you know?
Yeah, because if like
Mhm.
the on foot stuff was a little bit better, if there were, I don't know, like maybe different places to go out in the open world, I wouldn't mind like parking my truck at the beginning of a neighborhood and kind of hitting a couple of houses on my route and then getting back to my truck. But with how the game was, it's like, all right, here are 4 packages and 3 letters to deliver today, and they're all around this lake, and like the 6 houses that are around this lake, and then one that is just all the way out of the way.
Always like see that one and be like, oh, it's at the stupid campsite. Although, okay,
Yeah.
I'll give one compliment. I enjoyed all the Evil Dead references.
Sure, yeah.
They had
I
that
didn't get them
cabin.
because I have not seen the original.
Well, there's a cabin in the middle of nowhere on
Is
like
that what
Ashen Lane, you know, like
where
Ash.
you
the main
deliver the
character.
chainsaw?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
deliver the
Yeah.
chainsaw, and then at the end, they mentioned that Ashley couldn't show up because they had injured their hand or something like that. And I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that was another reference to that.
Yeah.
But
I actually, part of the problem I have with so much of this media that takes place in the past is, usually it'll be like, boy, if only we could like electronically mail something, maybe someday. It's like, okay, thank you, yes, great, you made it in 2021.
Check out this I'd like the video box, I'm not gonna lie.
Video box is fun, and like that's the thing that I was really worried about them kind of dating themselves a little bit too much was that stuff. And I thought they did actually a pretty good job of like every once in a while having like one cute wink and nod where it's like maybe it's a little too early to run a video store, and it's like, yeah, you're like 2 or 3 years too early probably for right there. But like I thought they did a pretty good job at a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, can we give them credits though for the knockoff videos?
They're all very good. They're really good. Yes.
19 Candles, Pretty in Lilac, and my personal favorite, The Maze.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that stuff I thought was done really well. It's just I'm not going to continue to beat up on this game. I hope we're not beating up on it in the first place, but I think nearly every facet of it was a letdown. I really wish it was on Game Pass because I feel like it has an audience, very much like Unpacking does, that sort of came out at the same time. I just feel like getting people to spend the $20 on an indie game that is largely getting fine reviews is kind of not a great position for an Xbox-only publisher and developer to be in. And I think a lot of people could potentially like this. It's just with so much other stuff on Game Pass, the reality of it is a little bit tougher.
Yeah. Like, it's something I actually discussed with one of our friends recently was like, I can't remember the last time I bought a game.
Right. I mean, especially
this year. I
this
think it was Resident Evil Village, which was like January of this year.
Yep.
And it was like, because that's a game I wanted to buy. Everything else I've been playing, I already own. Or it's big enough to hit Game Pass either right away or relatively quickly.
It's like big enough or small enough to hit Game Pass. Yeah.
Like, it's really weird. Like, this year has been my Netflix of gaming, and I've adored it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Moon, what are your final thoughts here as we go around the table on Lake?
It's fine.
Yeah, it's the death knell. It's like, it's fine.
Yeah. Give it a shot when it comes to Game Pass. You'll either like it or you'll hate it.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is one of those games where there isn't going to be a middle ground.
Yeah, I feel like if you spend an hour with it and you can't wait to get away from it, great. If you spend an hour with it and you are going to play the rest of it in one sitting, great. Like, I certainly wouldn't fault you, but hopefully there's a way for people to try it. Musim, what are your final thoughts here?
Well, two of them really. One, I think the team just had a scope problem, and I think they had their eyes too big, or maybe they had disagreements on what they should focus on in the game, and I think they wound up with an unwanted product. I disagree that anyone should play this, unfortunately, though. I think there are too many other good games. I think you can, like we mentioned Edith Finch. I'm sure we've mentioned Firewatch at some point. Like, of course, the Life is Strange game. Like, there's so many good visual novels or point-and-click adventures out now that are wonderful and artsy, and most of them are beautiful that if this team comes out with another game, I'm not, like, blacklisting them, but I am fairly... this just isn't a good game, and I don't think it's worth your time, and I think this team has a better game in them.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope that they get another shot at it. I hope they get maybe a bigger budget or more time or kind of a different scope or something, because I really feel like they could have something cool in them. It just it didn't happen this time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there'd be I would love to see a postmortem from them about like what happened during the development. I'm gonna try and keep an eye out for one of those, but yeah, it's just not great.
Yeah. So I looked up the devs, and they made a side-scrolling time-building simulation game set in the oil rush of North America called Turmoil.
Wow!
And the trailer for this game looks sick as hell, dude.
Okay. Interesting.
It looks so cool. Like, it's got like auctions and towns and land to buy and people to talk to, and it's literally a from the side view of a town. Also, it has a pun in the name. Turmoil. Turmoil.
Ah, Turmoil. I see. I see.
I mean, Lake is covered in good ideas, in my opinion. They just didn't work out.
Yeah, man. All right, well, that is, I'm sure we have mentioned it lately, that is our last Game Club game for 2021. But don't worry, we have our regular ranking episode that we have coming up next, the Game Club of the Year. Thank you to Moon for coming up with an incredible title for that. So that will be what we're going to feature next month. So tune in for that. And then the game we're going to play for January of 2022 is going to be Exo One. This just came out on Game Pass for Xbox One, Series X and S, and PC. So that'll be our third weekend in January game, Exo One. And hope you'll join us then. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.